हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू शिफ्टिंग गियर्स। और अभी मैं चला रहा हूँ द टोयोटा फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर। अगर आपको ये एसयूवी खरीदनी है, यू कैन बाय दी 4x2 ऑटोमेटिक वेरिएंट विच इज प्राइस्ड एट ₹39,71,000 एक्स शोरूम। अगर आपको इसका 4x4 ऑटोमेटिक वेरिएंट खरीदना है, दैट इज गोइंग टू कॉस्ट यू ₹43,43,000 एक्स शोरूम। टोयोटा फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर के साथ आपको एक सिंगल डीजल इंजन ऑप्शन मिलता है। यू कैन ओनली बाय दिस एसयूवी विद एन ऑटोमेटिक गियर बॉक्स। आप टोयोटा के स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्च्यूनर वेरिएंट्स भी खरीद सकते हो, बट दिस फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर हैज सम cosmetic changes on the outside. There are changes on the inside and also in terms of the equipment list. हमने इस गाड़ी के एक्सटीरियर डिजाइन के लिए एक अलग वीडियो अपलोड किया है. We have a separate video where we talk about the interior cabin and about the space management. But in this video, we are going to talk about the driving dynamics and how this SUV feels from behind the wheel. अभी मेरे साथ इस Toyota Fortuner Legender का 7-seater 4x2 automatic variant है. And as you all know, this is the diesel engine option. आपको पेट्रोल इंजन का ऑप्शन Legender मॉडल के साथ नहीं मिलता है. Now let's very quickly talk about the specifications. टोयोटा की ये जो फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर है, इसके साथ आपको एक 2755 सीसी 4 सिलेंडर 16 वाल्व टर्बोचार्ज्ड डीजल इंजन मिलती है, जो प्रोड्यूस करती है 204 PS between 3000 to 3400 RPM and a monstrous 500 Newton meters of torque between 1600 to 2800 RPM. इस गाड़ी के साथ आपको एक 6 स्पीड का ऑटोमेटिक गियरबॉक्स मिल रहा है, बट टुडे वी हैव विद अस द 2-wheel ड्राइव वेरिएंट. ये जो 6 स्पीड ऑटोमेटिक गियरबॉक्स है, दिस इज अ सीक्वेंशियल शिफ्टिंग गियरबॉक्स. आपको कंपनी इस गाड़ी के साथ पैडल शिफ्ट्स भी ऑफर कर रहे हैं, एंड मेकिंग यूज ऑफ द गियर स्टिक यू ऑल्सो हैव टिपट्रॉनिक फंक्शनैलिटी. द वेरिएंट दैट आई हैव विद मी टुडे ऑल्सो गेट्स ड्राइव मोड्स. इसके साथ आपको इको, नॉर्मल और स्पोर्ट ऐसे ड्राइव मोड्स मिल जाते हैं. And by the way, coupled to that driving mode is the power sharing which gets variable flow control. जिसका मतलब है जब आप पावर मोड्स चेंज करते हो, स्टीयरिंग व्हील पे जो हेफ्ट है वो भी चेंज हो जाती है. Now this is a big butch SUV 2-wheel drive variant. अगर आप खरीद लेते हो Toyota Fortuner Legender का, the weight is 2610 kilograms, and if you buy the 4-wheel drive version, that weighs 2735 kilograms. So this is a heavy SUV. This is not a corner carver, but if you want big massive real estate on wheels, this is one of the most popular full size SUVs here in the Indian market. And we know Toyota's superb reliability that makes the Toyota Fortuner Legender indestructible and unbeatable in the segment. Now I know that most of you guys might be thinking that this is a 2-wheel drive SUV. Although this is a big SUV, is it just a poser? But let me tell you that even with the 2-wheel drive setup, ये जो Fortuner Legender automatic version है, it is very capable of effortlessly taking you through your favorite trails. आपको बिल्कुल भी चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है that you are going to get stuck very easily. The SUV is very capable. It gets traction control as well. So where other SUVs which are similarly sized, they offer you drive modes which mimic off-road hardware. Some of them also get all-wheel drive. This Fortuner Legender, although it doesn't get any off-road specific mode, it just gets drive modes and it gets traction control. It can very easily drive over broken terrain. It can do mild off-roading unless you drive into slush. That is a tricky situation. लेकिन ये गाड़ी जो है, it is very very capable. Just have a look at this. I am driving through my favorite trail at Rajmachi near Lonavala, and this car did not make me think twice even once. I was very comfortable and my mind was at ease and I was at peace driving this car through this trail. So I did mention the weight of this SUV. You know the engine size, and it is a big car. So far मैं इस गाड़ी को 250 किलोमीटर्स के करीब चला चुका हूँ, and the mileage figure that I can see is 11.2 kmpl. मैंने काफ़ी समय तक ये गाड़ी सिटी में चलाई है, इनसाइड मुंबई सिटी, एंड आई ड्रोव इट थ्रू ट्रैफिक एज वेल एट पीक आवर्स. I went to my friend's wedding, took this car out with a full load of passengers. We were 6 people on board. Right now मैं इस गाड़ी को मुंबई पुणे एक्सप्रेसवे पे चला रहा हूँ. We are effortlessly cruising and the mileage figure is combining all of that. So 11.2 is not bad at all. And right now when I am cruising out on the highway, ये जो mileage figure है ये बढ़ते ही जा रहा है. So if you go for a long distance tour, से फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आप मुंबई टू गोवा के लिए इस गाड़ी का इस्तेमाल करोगे, एंड इफ यू आर गोइंग टू बी 4 पीपल ऑन बोर्ड इन दिस फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर, यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट क्लोज टू 13 to 14 kmpl ऑफ माइलेज ऑन अ लॉन्ग ड्राइव. लेकिन जब आप सिटी में इस गाड़ी का इस्तेमाल करने वाले हो, दिस फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर ऑटोमेटिक इज गोइंग टू स्ट्रगल टू डिलीवर ओवर 10 kmpl, बट दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू ऑलरेडी नो. एंड व्हेन यू हैव ऑलमोस्ट 50 big ones to spend on an SUV, I don't really think you care about mileage, do you? Now we have cleared the air that this Toyota Fortuner Legender is quite capable of the road. Well, almost. I have told you the mileage, which is quite respectable for a car of this size. Now let's talk about the refinement. Toyota ने इस Fortuner के engine पे काफी मेहनत की है and it shows. Right now when I'm driving this car on the expressway on a concrete patch, I have set the cruise control at 80 kilometers per hour. And the engine noise creeping inside is bare minimum. At 80 kilometers per hour, the engine RPM is roughly above 1500 and this is a very relaxed state of tune. ऐसे जब आप गाड़ी चलाते रहोगे आपको काफ़ी अच्छा माइलेज मिलते जाएगा. इंजन नॉइज कैबिन के अंदर ज़्यादा नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है, उसके वजह से आप स्ट्रेस फ्री रहोगे और आप ज़्यादा समय तक इस गाड़ी को नॉन स्टॉप चला पाओगे. At 80 kilometers per hour, even on a concrete patch, there is not too much of rolling sound from the tires that is creeping inside. टायर नॉइज ज़्यादा सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है और विंड नॉइज जो है वो भी काफ़ी वेल कंट्रोल्ड है. If I move to 90 kilometers per hour, when you do that, even when you are switching with the cruise control toggle button, the engine will downshift so that it picks up pace and then it will settle to the higher gear. At 90 kilometers per hour, the engine RPM is close to 1600, and when I move to 100 kilometers per hour, इस सिचुएशन में भी engine noise जो है वो ज़्यादा uncomfortable करने जैसा नहीं है. There is barely any sound that is going to trouble you on the inside, and the engine RPM right now is close to 1800. So under 2000 RPM, this is going to be fantastic. ये गाड़ी जो है it will be a very good mile muncher and you and your family or friends, all of you all will have a good time. Even at 100 kilometers per hour, wind noise थोड़ा कैबिन में सुनाई दे रहा है. At 100, wind buffeting थोड़ी सुनाई दे रही है, but engine noise and tire noise is not something that will trouble you. Right now we are inside a tunnel. I'm hoping that you can get a glimpse of the ambient lights that you get in this Fortuner Legender. So in terms of the NVH package, in 2022, this Fortuner Legender does offer you a reasonably quiet cabin and that should keep you happy. Now let's talk about the drive modes. आपको इस गाड़ी के साथ इको, नॉर्मल और स्पोर्ट ड्राइव मोड्स मिलते हैं. All of that is self-explanatory. स्टीयरिंग व्हील का जो हेफ्ट है वो भी चेंज हो जाता है when you toggle between these drive modes. It is not something significant. आपको इतना आसानी से ये चीज़ नोटिस नहीं होने वाली है because by default स्टीयरिंग व्हील जो है वो काफ़ी हैवी है. ये जो ड्राइव मोड जब आप चेंज करते हो, इको मोड पे आपका थ्रॉटल इनपुट जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा म्यूटेड रहता है. When you even kick the pedal, the engine picks up pace, builds momentum slowly and progressively. लेकिन जब आप स्पोर्ट मोड में इस गाड़ी को चला लोगे, you get all of that power and you get all of that 500 Newton meters of torque available on tap. And when you drive in sport mode, this Fortuner is very eager to lunge forward, even though it is a big, heavy SUV. And you get that feeling of being dragged when you push this car, when you want to drive it fast. And some people like it, and those who like it will really, really enjoy it. Apart from the difference that you might feel in your throttle input, there is nothing much that you need to know about these drive modes. Buttons जो है वो यहाँ पे पोजीशन किए गए हैं. They are very easy to reach out and access. और जब आप ये ड्राइव मोड चेंज करते हो, आपको स्पीडोमीटर क्लस्टर पे एक नोटिफिकेशन भी नज़र आ जाती है। इस गाड़ी के साथ बाय द वे आपको ऑटोमेटिक इंजन स्टार्ट स्टॉप फंक्शनैलिटी भी मिलती है। इट वर्क्स इन इको मोड एंड इन नॉर्मल मोड, नॉट इन स्पोर्ट मोड। एंड व्हेन यू कम टू अ स्टैंड स्टिल, अगर आप ब्रेक पेडल सिर्फ फेदर कर रहे हो तभी इंजन बंद नहीं होगी। यू विल हैव टू डिप्रेस द ब्रेक पेडल कंप्लीटली, ओनली देन the engine will shut down and this system will become active. And then when you release pressure from the brake pedal, जब आप सिर्फ ब्रेक पेडल पे से अपना पैर लिफ्ट ऑफ करना शुरू कर देते हो तभी ही ये इंजन जो है फिर से शुरू हो जाती है। ऐसा नहीं है that you have to completely lift your feet off the pedal and only then the engine starts. But when this engine shuts down and when it starts, there is some amount of movement that you feel and there is nothing you can do about it. I'm going to come to a complete standstill and I'm going to demonstrate that to you. I am in eco mode right now, and once I park, I hope that you will be able to hear the engine sound when the engine starts and when it shuts down. So let's try it out. But right now, when I'm not pressing the pedal completely, engine बंद नहीं हुई है. And when I kick it, right now the engine has shut down. As soon as I lift my feet off from the brake pedal, listen to this. Engine शुरू हो जाती है and there is an audible sound that you can hear. When I again come to a standstill, immediately जब आप ये करोगे, engine बंद नहीं होगी. This will also protect your engine mounts and they will last a longer time. They will last for a longer distance. इस गाड़ी के साथ by the way आपको एक eco indicator भी मिलता है, which you can see in the tachometer section. So that is going to tell you that you are in the most economical rev range and your right foot is generous to your wallet, and this Fortuner Legender will offer you more mileage. So I am again going to stop, kicking the pedal completely. Engine बंद हो चुकी है and now lifting it. Engine शुरू हो चुकी है and it immediately starts picking up pace. It starts crawling. When you release your foot from the brake pedal, this Fortuner Legender will crawl at close to 9 to 10 kilometers per hour. So this is going to help you in bumper to bumper traffic. And even if you switch to sport mode, your crawling speed is not going to change. So the change is only going to be felt when you kick the pedal, when you tap the accelerator. So I'm again coming to a standstill. I am now in sport mode and now we are going to accelerate. So you listen to the engine, the amount of engine sound heard inside. So in 3, 2, 1. Over 100, 120. And we are at serious triple digit speeds right now. This Toyota Fortuner is a big SUV. Yes, it has over 200 horsepower. It has 500 Newton meters of torque. But then you can't deny that it has to pull a lot of weight. And if you have a full load of passengers, all that power and torque is not necessarily going to make you feel like you're driving a fast car. But does it pick up pace much better than it ever used to? Definitely yes. And although it is not exciting, it is fast enough to massage your ego when you know that you have spent so much money to bring home a reliable SUV. ये जो गाड़ी है, it is not tech laden. It is not the most feature loaded product in the market. It doesn't even get a sunroof. ये गाड़ी compete करती है with the Ford Endeavour, with the MG Gloster, with the Mahindra Alturas G4. And in terms of kit, I think this does fall short in quite a few areas. But we know that this Toyota engine is super reliable. The Toyota Fortuner as a product overall is very, very reliable, and it will just live with you for as long as you want it to, only if you take good care of it. Right now I am still in sport mode and I am driving this Fortuner Legender at close to 40 kilometers per hour. Check this out, I am letting a bus overtake me. I have kicked the accelerator pedal. Listen to the engine. I'm at 100 already. So Roll-on acceleration is quite good, and if you want to make fast-paced overtaking maneuvers, it is not going to be a problem. It is just that this is not an enthusiast's car. This is an SUV. You can call it a good, comfortable family car which can take you almost anywhere. But it is not supposed to be a corner carver. You have to understand the limitations of the SUV format. You have to understand the limitations of a body on ladder construction, and then you can make the most out of what this car has to offer to you. I'm inside a tunnel, so it has reminded me that I need to tell you that this Fortuner Legender gets LED headlamps, full LED headlamps, and the illumination is fantastic. I was driving it last night and the road was so well lit up that I was very confident while driving this car. I really like cars with nice, powerful, low beam setup, and this Fortuner Legender is a good night animal as well. A few moments back, I mentioned that you need to understand and know the limitations of the product that you buy. The limitation for this Toyota Fortuner Legender is the body roll. It is a big, tall SUV. It is a heavy SUV. It is a body on ladder construction. So if you are going to make sudden lane changes, if you want to just, weave through traffic, you will feel the pitch and roll. There are a lot of electronic safety features which are going to help you keep the car in your control. The body roll in this Fortuner compared to the Gen 1 Fortuner is very different. This is far less. This is far more controllable. लेकिन फिर भी एक बड़ी गाड़ी होने के वजह से इसमें थोड़ा बहुत बॉडी रोल आपको जरूर महसूस होगा. You can't really carry as much speed through a corner, into a corner, like you do, say for example, in a sedan or in a hatchback. This Fortuner Legender comes with pitch and bounce control setup. It gets vehicle stability control with brake assist. You have hill assist control, you have traction control, you have 7 airbags, and there is just a lot of that standard safety kit such as ABS with EBD and all of that to ensure that you and your family are safe inside this SUV. The next point that I want to talk about is the steering wheel. ये जो steering setup है, it is heavy. Especially at city speeds, at parking speeds, आपको ये steering wheel काफ़ी heavy महसूस होगा, आपको काफ़ी मेहनत करनी होगी. When you are going to make 3-point U-turns, you will have to make use of both your hands for sure. And if you are not used to driving a big SUV, your arms are going to pain in your initial days of ownership. Trust me, take that in writing. I'll give that to you in writing. But when you're driving it out on the highway, it is not too much of an effort. I won't say that this is the most feel and feedback rich. जब आप ड्राइव मोड्स भी चेंज करते हो, जो भी चेंजेस होते हैं, they are, I think, negligible. And the steering wheel does give you a good idea of where the wheels are pointing. If you don't know that, if you can't make that out, आपको इस MID में steering wheel का जो direction है वो भी नज़र आता है. So that will also help you. Of course, you will only check that steering lock angle when you are at a standstill. जब आप गाड़ी चला रहे हो, you are not going to see that over there. And of course, आपका steering wheel इतना lock to lock move नहीं होता है. लेकिन फिर भी out on the highway, I have no complaints. It is just that at slow speeds, at city commute speeds, this wheel does feel a little cumbersome. The next point that I want to talk about is overall ride quality. Now I want to break it down into two parts. First is the rough road ability and the toughness that this Fortuner offers. अगर आप ये गाड़ी खरीद रहे हो, you have nothing to worry about. You can just go anywhere in the country and this car will just take you to wherever you want to go. There will be no tantrums at all. Right now, मैं राजमाची में जब इस गाड़ी को चला रहा था, I was driving over huge rocks. I was driving through a trail. There were plenty of stones. Everything that you would not want your car to drive through, this car could just glide over it. एक भी बार इस गाड़ी के अंडरबेली सेक्शन ने कहीं पे भी स्क्रैप नहीं किया, and there was absolutely no problem that we faced. You can notice there is another Fortuner Legender right now in front of us. This car is just so popular. Now, the rough road ability, the toughness of this car and the simplicity that it offers that is what makes this so charming. This car just gives you that old school analog SUV feeling. It is not, loaded with tech and all that modern wizardry which just does everything with the inputs from the computer. This is you driving the car, you fighting the car at times. So people who like that will appreciate it. But the ride quality in general is a little bouncy. This is a body on ladder construction and this car rides on 18-inch wheels. झटके आपको फील नहीं होते हैं, बट गाड़ी जो है पूरे टाइम बाउंसी रहती है. Even on the expressway, even on these concrete roads, there is just some amount of movement constantly, and that is a little annoying. In today's day and age, when you are going to buy a vehicle, looking at the utility, if that is going to be the primary purpose, this is not really comfortable. The pitch and roll will make you, uncomfortable at times or irritated at times if you are used to some other car which offers you a nice and flat ride. So there's a trade-off which you will have to make peace with. Yes, this is built to last. Yes, it is tough and all of that, but there is a lot of vertical movement and there is a lot of lateral movement as well. Now, thanks to the refinements that Toyota has made over the years, the seats don't move too much, they don't make too much of noise, so the parts bin is well sorted, everything inside is well put together. तो आपको सभी टच पॉइंट्स पसंद आएंगे. It is just that the Toyota Fortuner Legender, when it is costing close to 50 lakh rupees, it doesn't feel premium. It feels solid, but it doesn't feel premium. The next point to talk about are the tires. You get Bridgestone tires with this car, and they have offered me phenomenal grip throughout my review drive. I have driven it over really bad roads, over some off-road trails. I'm driving it right now on the expressway and I drove it inside the city. Never did they screech or squeal. Even on long sweeping corners on the expressway, grip levels were adequate. So tire department, no problem. Brakes जो हैं वो भी काफ़ी अच्छे हैं and they are quite predictable as well. It is a big bulky SUV, so if you really slam on the brakes, if you just give too much of a brake input, आपको nose dive ज़रूर feel होगा. There is no denying that fact. That is a typical SUV trait. You will feel that in the Fortuner Legender as well. So if you have to stomp on the brakes, ensure that you alert other occupants in your car because they might get caught unaware. लेकिन फिर भी when you want to bring the car to a halt, it will follow a nice straight line, given that you are driving in a sane fashion, and it will be safe enough to bring you to a halt. In terms of driver comfort, आपको इस गाड़ी के साथ ventilated seats मिल रहे हैं for the front two occupants. You are getting electric seat adjustment again for the front two occupants, and this steering wheel आप इसे tilt और telescopic तरीके से एडजस्ट कर सकते हो, यानी कि आप इसे आगे पीछे ऊपर नीचे मूव कर सकते हो, एंड देन यू कैन गेट अ गुड डिजायर्ड कमांडिंग ड्राइविंग पोजीशन. जब मैं यहाँ पे बैठा हूँ, मेरी हाइट है 5 feet 8 inches. यू कैन नोटिस देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ हेडरूम दैट इज लेफ्ट एंड आई कैन गेज ऑल 4 कॉर्नर्स ऑफ दिस कार वेरी इजीली. इस गाड़ी के साथ आपको कोई ADAS फंक्शनैलिटी नहीं मिलती है. यू डोंट इवन गेट एडेप्टिव क्रूज कंट्रोल. आपको 360 डिग्री कैमरा सपोर्ट भी नहीं मिलता है. सो ऑल दैट टोयोटा इज ऑफरिंग यू विद दिस फॉर्च्यूनर लेजेंडर इज different looks compared to the standard Fortuner and reliability. That is what Toyota is cashing in on here in the Indian market. But what some people like, what most people like, those who are planning to buy such an SUV, a 7-seater SUV, that is real estate on wheels. लोगों को एक बड़ी गाड़ी पसंद है, and in that department this Fortuner scores top marks. It is just so noticeable out on the road. It is going to massage your ego. It is a big car, and this Fortuner Legender, especially in this dual tone shade of white and black, it looks good enough. There are a lot of contrasting black elements on the bumpers, so that also breaks the monotony. I wish that there were other color options with this Legender model. A grey and black would look good too, but then that is me. Maybe Toyota thinks that their customer base likes white, and we know that there are a lot of white Toyota Fortuners out on the street, isn't it? So guys, you let me know what is your opinion about this Toyota Fortuner Legender. I am confused. It is a mixed bag for me. It has improved a lot over the older Fortuners. A huge improvement over the first generation Fortuner for sure. तो अगर आप अपनी पुरानी Gen 1 Fortuner बेच के ये Legender खरीदना चाहते हो, you will feel a huge difference for sure. No denying that fact. But as a daily car, as a daily commuter, this is very heavy. This is not efficient, and it is not effortless. You have to really struggle to move it through traffic, and you have to put in a lot of effort, especially on the steering wheel. अगर आपके और कोई सवाल हैं इस गाड़ी के बारे में, do ask me. I will try my best to help you out so that you can make an informed car buying decision, especially when you are spending such big money. Goodbye, drive safe, and before we sign off, let me tell you that the mileage has improved to 11.5 kmpl throughout my review drive. See you soon, see you in another video, and always guys, wear your seatbelts.